Heraclitus, known as the Weeping Philosopher or the Obscure, lived in Ephesus during the late 6th century BC and early 5th century BC. His philosophy is captured in a collection of fragments, mostly short statements that convey profound and often cryptic ideas. Heraclitus is considered one of the pre-Socratic philosophers, and his work primarily addresses the nature of change, unity of opposites, and the flux of the universe. He believed that everything is in a constant state of transformation and that conflict is an essential part of reality. What survives of Heraclitus' philosophy comes from quotations and references by later writers, primarily the doxographers who preserved his thought in the form of aphorisms or brief statements. The doctrine of flux and change. One of Heraclitus' central ideas is the concept of constant change. He famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice," highlighting the fact that everything is in a state of continuous flow. The river, though appearing the same, is constantly replenishing itself with new water. This idea reflects Heraclitus' belief that reality is not static, but always in flux. For Heraclitus, this change is not random or chaotic but follows a rational order, governed by a cosmic principle that he called the Logos. The Logos is the underlying law of nature, which Heraclitus believed was responsible for the order and structure of the universe, despite its ever-changing nature. Unity of opposites. Another important aspect of Heraclitus' philosophy is the unity of opposites. He believed that opposites are not in conflict with each other but are in fact interdependent. For example, he stated that war is the father of all and king of all, meaning that strife and conflict are necessary for the generation of new things. Without conflict, there would be no change, and without change, there would be no life. Heraclitus saw opposites such as day and night, life and death, or hot and cold as being part of a harmonious cycle in which one gives rise to the other. This balance of opposites is essential to his understanding of the world. The role of fire. Heraclitus used the metaphor of fire to describe the ever-changing nature of the universe. Fire, with its capacity to consume and transform everything it touches, represents the constant flux and destruction that gives rise to new forms. He believed that fire was the fundamental element from which all things originate and into which all things eventually return. Fire, for Heraclitus, is a symbol of both destruction and creation, embodying the dynamic process of change that governs the cosmos. It is through fire that the world is continuously regenerated, and this cycle of transformation is driven by the Logos, the universal principle of order. Human understanding and the Logos. Heraclitus held that most people fail to understand the true nature of reality because they are too focused on their senses and the material world. He believed that the Logos, the rational principle that governs the universe, is not easily perceived by the senses but can only be understood through reason. Heraclitus criticized those who lived without awareness of the Logos, saying, "Though the Logos is common, most people live as if they had their own private understanding." This criticism underscores his belief that only through contemplation and insight can one grasp the deeper truth of the universe's constant flux and unity of opposites. Heraclitus and the soul. In his Fragments, Heraclitus also reflected on the nature of the soul. He viewed the soul as a kind of fire, subject to the same laws of change and transformation that govern the cosmos. The soul, like the universe, is in a constant state of flux, and its quality is determined by the harmony of opposites within it. Heraclitus believed that a soul in balance is wise, while a soul out of balance is foolish and unwise. He argued that the soul's wisdom comes from an understanding of the Logos and the recognition of the unity of opposites. The wise soul, according to Heraclitus, is one that can maintain balance amidst the turmoil of life. The nature of knowledge and wisdom. For Heraclitus, wisdom was not simply the accumulation of information or knowledge, but the deep understanding of the fundamental nature of reality. He distinguished between those who possess true wisdom and those who merely know many facts. Much learning does not teach understanding, he declared, suggesting that true wisdom comes from grasping the interconnectedness of all things and the ever-present change that characterizes the universe. In this way, Heraclitus emphasized the importance of seeing beyond appearances and understanding the underlying principles that govern existence. Heraclitus and the divine. While Heraclitus did not directly discuss the gods in the same way as other Greek thinkers, he did imply a sense of divinity in the Logos, the universal principle of order and reason. For Heraclitus, the Logos was eternal and omnipresent, governing all things and ensuring that the cosmos remained in a state of harmony despite its constant changes. In this sense, the Logos can be understood as a divine force, though Heraclitus refrained from anthropomorphizing it or attributing it to the traditional pantheon of Greek gods. The Logos was for him an impersonal, rational principle, not a deity to be worshipped. Ethics and the human condition. Heraclitus' philosophical reflections also extend to human life and morality. He believed that living in accordance with the Logos was the key to a virtuous and harmonious life. To do this, Individuals must recognize the transient nature of existence and embrace the inevitable changes that define the human condition. Heraclitus emphasized the importance of self-awareness and introspection, urging people to look inward to find the logos within themselves. By aligning their lives with the rational order of the universe, individuals could achieve a sense of inner balance and wisdom, even amidst the chaos of the world. Heraclitus and his influence. Although Heraclitus' works were not widely understood or appreciated in his time, his ideas have had a lasting impact on the history of philosophy. Later philosophers, such as Plato and Aristotle, engaged with Heraclitus' concept of change, even though they disagreed with some of his conclusions. Plato, for instance, acknowledged the reality of change but sought to reconcile it with his theory of eternal forms, while Aristotle focused on the concept of potentiality and actuality to explain how things change. In the Hellenistic period, the Stoics were particularly influenced by Heraclitus' idea of the logos, which they incorporated into their own philosophy as the rational principle that orders the cosmos. Modern interpretations of Heraclitus. In modern times, Heraclitus' fragments have continued to inspire philosophical thought. His ideas about the constant flux of the universe resonate with contemporary scientific understandings of nature, particularly in fields such as quantum physics and chaos theory. The notion that reality is in a state of constant transformation aligns with modern views of the dynamic and evolving nature of the cosmos. Additionally, Heraclitus' emphasis on the unity of opposites has found echoes in dialectical philosophies, such as those of Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel and Karl Marx, who recognize the role of conflict and contradiction in driving historical and social change. In conclusion, Heraclitus' fragments offer a profound and enigmatic exploration of the nature of change, unity, and the cosmos. His belief in the logos as the governing principle of all things and his understanding of the world as a dynamic process of transformation have left a lasting legacy in both ancient and modern thought. Although his ideas were often misunderstood or dismissed by his contemporaries, Heraclitus remains one of the most influential pre-Socratic philosophers, whose insights into the nature of reality continue to resonate today.